Good evening, baseball fans, and welcome back to Dan's Vintage Baseball PC. Do not be fooled by the fancy name. It's just me and some friends talking about baseball cards, and oh my, I just got back from the National last night, and I'm still tired. But I need to do a video. I need to show off my pickups and talk about my experience, and I'm excited to do so. But I'm still pretty tired from it. It was a whirlwind. It was a amazing experience. It was pretty much everything that I had hoped it would be. Obviously, it wasn't perfect. Some things didn't go down exactly as expected, but ultimately, um, it was it was great. So, as I said in the title of this video, my national was epic. There's a lot to talk about. I have a lot of slides. I have 3 different slide programs. I'm going to try to get through all of this in 2 parts. So, but unlike last year where I did the cards and then I did the people, and the cards got lots and lots of views and the people less so, kind of mixed it in together because I think it's rather than compartmentalize it, the people had something to do with the cards, certainly. So, let me get started on the video. I left on Tuesday. It's Monday night as I'm recording right now, but I left on Tuesday. I had a 5 o'clock flight. I expected to get into Chicago and be at the hotel by 7:30 local time. Gained an hour on the way out. And then have a nice dinner and chat with friends and get into get a nice rest and wake up Wednesday morning fresh and ready to go. Didn't quite work out that way, but yeah, let's get into the slides. So this is when I walked in for the first time on Wednesday afternoon. As you know, Wednesday's show opened up officially at 3 o'clock for VIPs. We did have media passes, the 4 collectors, so we got in about 2 o'clock, and this is pretty much right before we got in. But let me just go back to this. So this is the I was in LaGuardia Airport from about 2:30 in the afternoon till about 9 o'clock at night when my flight took off. So it was a long day already by the time I got into the air. So you see here, I was at gate 24. We got switched to gate something or another. Then we came back to 24, and it was a little crazy. But you could see on this. This is right before we're about to get on the plane, whatever they call it. So departure time was 5 p.m. It was now 8:28 for the departure. We didn't actually get out of the air until get into the air until 9 o'clock, and 2 to 2.5 hour flight. So get in locally about, I don't know, 10 o'clock locally. Missed the shuttle. No, it was after 10 because the last shuttle was at 10. Missed the shuttle. Had to Uber to the hotel. Got into the hotel probably about, I don't know, 10:45, and then hung out with the guys for a little while. We'll go through a bunch of people who were in the suite with me. It was all 4 collectors except one friend of ours, and that was super cool. So next morning, Wednesday morning, we had a nice brunch. A whole bunch of us, you can see in this picture. Top left in the blue shirt, that is Matt, the card story, who picked this place. It was a fantastic breakfast and brunch place, and it was a nice crew there. You can see Matt slightly to the right of his head. You can see his wife, Sarah, their 2 children. There is Dave from Legends of the Dugout. Me, of course, giving the thumbs up. There's John 3D80's kid, Jeremy Lee, who I did actually get to spend quite a bit of time with Jeremy, and he's just such a gentleman and such an asset to the hobby. Next to him, taking the selfie, is Theo, my colleague in 4 collectors, and behind him is Eddie's Cardboard Chaos, who was in our suite. So that was just a great time. Made me feel a lot better after the previous night's travel experience and got us going for the show. So a couple of days before the show, I had an opportunity to see some photographs of Ash's display cases, and in those photographs was a card that I had been targeting. It was a really nice example of the card, and the price was really good. So I was worried that someone would swipe it up pretty quickly, if not even before the show started. So at one point during this brunch, I was asked to or told, "You better text him." So I texted Ash. I said, "I want this card. This is what I want to pay," and he asked for a deposit, which would be perfectly fine to keep the card aside. But I said, here's what I can do, and then obviously the man is busy. And he never got back to me. So when we got into the show at 2 o'clock, I made a beeline to Ash's display cabinets, and he had a lot of them. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 display cases. He had like a like a U-shaped booth or multiple booths, and I couldn't find him right away. So I was running around the whole, looking at the interactive map, trying to figure out where he was. Eventually, I found him. Went through all of his cards, found the card, and then started to negotiate. So there it is. On the left is the 1934 Hank Greenberg. That is a Hank Greenberg rookie card. It is a 3, but is a very, very strong 3. And it's one of those cards that, it makes your collection feel like it's complete. It was one of those cards that it felt like not having it was a hole in my collection. And it's super sharp. It's slightly off center, but not too bad. Brian Roth, who has been on my show and who has a extraordinary Hank Greenberg collection, sat next to me on the couch in our suite. And I think it was maybe Wednesday night, looking at this card with a flashlight and looking at it closely. And he is an expert at these things, and says to me, "I don't know how or why this is a 3, but it is, and it's a super strong 3. I paid a price that I felt was fair, maybe even a little under what a 3 is, and I was very happy, and that was how my show started. So, good way to start off. Good way to start off the week. Nailing a card that I really wanted. And a card that came from a dealer that's definitely a friend of the hobby, and basically at the right price. Yeah, sure, it set me back a little bit, but it was a great start to the week. So I later on that day made my way over to George Diamond Yard Sports Cards, who has a YouTube channel. I know he's one of the misfits. And I'd never met him before. I'd interacted with him a little bit online, but never met him before. Just a wonderful gentleman. I went over and talked to him, and we were hanging out, and I saw that he had this other card of Hank Greenberg's 1934 to 36 Diamond Stars. So Diamond Yard sold me Diamond Stars, a card that I've wanted for a while, and I priced it, and George was extremely fair with me, and came up with a number that was that both of us were happy with. And suddenly I owned both of Hank Greenberg's first cards. I mean, it's the Gaudy's really a 34. The Diamond Stars is probably 35. I don't know. Let's look at it. It's right here. Wonderful card. Hank Greenberg. No, yeah, it has his 34 batting average. So this must be a 35. So, but Greenberg's first 2 cards are terrific cards. And I'm so happy to own both of them. So suddenly here I am, a couple hours into the show, a couple hours into the week, significantly lighter in the pocket, but significantly heavier in the PC. So that was another great start. And there's George right there with me. I didn't get a picture of George when I got the card, but I definitely decided to get one later on. And you can see I'm wearing the Vintage Trade Night shirt. So this picture is taken on Saturday morning, probably. And there is George. And I thank him very much for that card and his graciousness. So a lot of cards there. It's not just buying cards. It's also looking at some amazing stuff that, frankly, I don't have the means to afford, but which is just museum quality stuff. And so the Love of the Game auctions. I did an interview with Alan Andrew last week on, I think it was not last week, but the week before, the Thursday of the week before, about their brand new auction that opened up on that Thursday. And it's almost 2 hours. It's on the Four Collectors channel. I'll link to it below if you haven't seen it. It's maybe one of the best interviews I've ever done, and I was really proud of the video. It's also infamous for my legs cramping up at the end of the video, and my buddies over at Four Collectors taking the outtakes and making a funny little thing out of it, which was kind of fun, and which people joked to me about throughout the week. But hey, it is what it is. I did an interview that was so long that I cramped up. So there you go. Anyway, so here's some stuff from their auction. That is one of their display cases. This is on the left is their other display case. You could see, just look, there's the original Jim Brown photograph that was used for his rookie card. There's the Jackie Robinson photograph that was used for his 1954 Topps card. There's some Babe Ruth photos. On the right is a Old Hoss Radbourne card that I didn't even know existed till 2 weeks ago. And then this, which is number 7 in their auction. Starting bid was $4,000. I was the first person to bid on this. I knew I was going to be outbid. I was outbid within a few hours, and it's gone up. And I won't own it. But number 7 is the George Shuba, congratulating Jackie Robinson on his first professional home run in playing for Montreal Royals in AAA. And at that point, that is Jackie Robinson's first home run, and George Shuba is congratulating him with a handshake at home plate. And that picture has become a symbol of the healing of the divide of pre-integration. And also now it has become actually used for a statue in Youngstown, Ohio, which was George Shuba's hometown. So it's a handshake for the ages, I think it might be called, but it's a historical photo, and that's the only original copy that exists. So it's going to be an incredible piece for someone who wins that auction. Unfortunately, it won't be me, but I got a chance to see it up close, and I was very happy to do that. So I made my way over. I saw Stan Locke pretty early on, talked to him. He didn't have the Hank Gowdy Crackerjack card I was looking for. He had obviously other stuff, and many other guys purchased from him. I did not actually purchase from Stan in this week, which is odd because I purchased from him almost every show. I'd gotten the Ty Cobb Old Mill red portrait from him in Strongsville, and other cards, many other cards over the years. But after that, I worked over to Bill Chappell's table. And Bill always has a nice selection of ungraded stuff, and I wanted to start maybe with a little bit of ungraded stuff. So I went and got 2 of the 55 double headers. I'm building the set. I will be submitting these to SGC. Yes, SGC. Probably tomorrow when I finish this video and the next video. All of my raw cards from this week are going to go into an order, which I have already a stack of cards. So it's going to be a large SGC order. Goes out tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be back by early to mid-September. So that was cool. I also worked my way around to a dealer who also has a YouTube channel. YouTube channel is called Stars of the Diamond. This is Rhett Yeeley, and he had a tremendous collection of Z-Nut cards. There were a couple of Z-Nut cards of Moses Yellowhorse, which I think John Mangini might have actually purchased one of those. They were a bit pricey for me. So what I did is I got the Dolph Camilli. That's the 1931 Z-Nut. I have the 29 Z-Nut also, a graded copy in a 4, which is the highest example of that card in existence. So Dolph Camilli is special as the 1941 MVP for the Brooklyn Dodgers. And a really solid player for quite a number of years. To the right, actually, I just put these 2 together, but that's actually the last card I bought on Saturday afternoon. That is a Propagandist Montiel of Bucky Walters, the great pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, who I believe was an MVP. No, was he? I think Bucky Walters might have won the MVP in 39. Anyway, great pitcher, great card. I don't know how many the pop is, but it's probably less than 10. So I also made my way over to Phil Marks, who has a tremendous autograph collection and has been a great source of cards for me in building my 1970 Topps signed set. Picked up one slab. That's Earl Weaver, very reasonably priced, and really nice looking autograph by Earl Weaver. That is not his rookie card; it is second manager card, but it's the 70 Topps. Also, three raw autographs. One is Jake Gibbs, the other is Dave Ricketts. Both catchers, both common cards. Both of these guys were two-sport athletes in college. In fact, Jake Gibbs was a better quarterback than when he was a baseball player. He was quarterback for Ole Miss and in the SEC, and could have played pro football, but he chose pro baseball, where he had a fairly undistinguished career as a backup catcher to Thurman Munson, among others. Dave Ricketts was also a backup catcher. Dave Ricketts was a basketball star at Duquesne University. So both of these guys were more than just catchers. They were actually two sports stars. Also, got the double signed one on the right. That's Fred Bean and Terry Crowley. I actually already have that card signed by Bean, but I didn't have Crowley, and I'm not sure. I don't know if Crowley's even alive anymore, but that was fun to get. And that card was a little pricier than the others, but definitely worth it. I just put on the left, that is a Venezuelan Topps 1967 Venezuelan Winter League of Eddie Watt, the pitcher for the Orioles for many years, who I was fortunate to do an interview with Eddie Watt with Drew Clean, Cheap Shots, and John Mangini a few months ago. That was nice, fun live interview on John's channel. I purchased that card off of eBay and then mailed it off to Drew, who knows Eddie Watt, who had Eddie Watt sign it for me, and then delivered it to me at the National. So not a purchase at the National per se, but a card I picked up, and very happy to have that cool auto on that cool rare card. And thank you, Drew, for not only getting Eddie to sign it, but also delivering it to me personally at the National. So this is kind of the end of my day on Wednesday. The card on the right is a card that I did not expect to ever own. It is the 1946-47 Carmelo Deportivo of Martin Deiggo. We've talked about Martin Deiggo recently. I got the brilliant card that was produced by Scott from Reindeer Studios in tribute to Orlando, and that is being sold by Scott $10 a piece, and all the money goes to cancer research. So the Deiggo was in my head. It was in my head again because Love of the Game Auctions has 4 different Deiggo cards in their auction, the current auction, including 2 really rare ones. One I've never seen before, 2 I've never seen before. One is the more common. It's the 45-46 Carmelo Deportivo, which is, a headshot portrait of Deiggo, and that one is a little less uncommon. Let's put it that way. And you do see it. It's not an inexpensive card. It's a probably $2,000-$3,000 card depending upon condition. But this Deiggo was affordable because the back is skinned. It didn't come out of the album correctly. But that's not a problem for me, considering that I wouldn't be able to afford a Martin Deiggo card without some sort of issue like that. But the front is, of course, fantastic. There's a fold, and again, not a big deal to me. I own this card. It is extraordinarily important historically, baseball-wise. The man is maybe one of the top 5 best baseball players of all time. Because of integration, was not able to play in the major leagues. But had he played in the major leagues, he would have been a Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Famer anyway, but he would have been a Major League Baseball star, certainly. So he's in, I think it's 5 different Halls of Fame, and particularly the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. So Martin Deiggo card, something I thought I'd never own, and I do now, and I'm so happy to own it. It was a little bit emotional to be able to have that happen for me on the first day. The dealer is Philip Gary, who I've purchased from before. In fact, the Louis Tiant Sr. Caramello Deportivo, the 45-46 I purchased from him in Strongsville. Just a great gentleman, incredibly knowledgeable. He literally wrote a book about Cuban baseball cards. Worked with me on the numbers, just gave me so much information. And I did also purchase that Bucky Walters from him later on in the show. Had an opportunity to watch him interact with both Orlando and John Mangini later on. I believe that was Friday. And, just extremely easy to deal with, very knowledgeable, and had just incredible pieces. And so happy that he came all the way up from Florida for this national. And so I did buy another card from Phil Gary. I think it was maybe the next day. It is a Trinidad 1949 Trinidad tobacco card from Cuba that is so rare. The card that I bought is so rare that there are no pops. There's literally no graded examples. It's a card that was in the Hakes auction, or a set that was in the Hakes auction. There's a Buck Leonard that went up in the Hakes auction. It was graded by CGC. CGC is the only company that will grade them. So I actually dropped it off with CGC at the show. I don't have it. I'll have it probably in 4 to 6 weeks, but that'll be another one that I'll be able to speak about when we get to it. So on the left is a card that I had arranged to purchase prior to the National. It is a home run derby card. These cards are very rare. It is Gil Hodges, of course. It's a 1, but the front is perfectly fine. The back has a little bit of water staining. Don't care. It's a beautiful card. There's nothing on the back, so blank back with a little water staining saved me a ton of money. What also saved me a ton of money is it came from a very, very good friend and generous man who's known on YouTube as Mike Petty, and he brought this all the way from California to me, and I paid him for it, a price below what he should have charged me. So now I have my first, probably and only, home run derby card. If you're a type collector and you can add a card from that set, you'd be very happy. So that ended my Wednesday. It was quite a day getting cards in, and basically I felt like I'd already won. And that takes us to the end of that program. So Wednesday night there was a get together at the Lowe's Hotel. It was set up by the Misfits, primarily Rick, Vintage Oddball cards, and John Mangini. It was very well attended. It was a lot of fun. It was just, I don't know, they planned it like a week ago or something, but mostly everybody who was in town of the YouTubers came, and a lot of people who aren't on YouTube, but, follow or comment. Got to talk to a lot of fun people that night, and it was really good, but I was kind of wiped out, so I left a little bit earlier than everybody. Went back to the hotel, sat around and chatted, and then ultimately went to bed and woke up very early on Thursday morning, raring to go. Got into the show. I know Theo and John 3D80's Kid from Four Collectors, my colleagues and roommates, got in about 8 o'clock. I think I got there a little bit before 9. Walked in, walked around, and discovered that morning that I had completely missed. I was on Wednesday. I was in the show from 2 p.m. till 8 p.m. I had completely missed one room entirely. It was all the way in the back because I thought to myself, wait, Tim Payne is here. The dealer, Tim Payne, is here. I didn't see him. I wonder where he is. And I looked it up on the interactive map, and suddenly I found him in the corner of a room that I didn't even know existed. So I went straight to Tim Payne's, I guess it's a booth or a series of tables. He had probably 5 or 6 tables set up, and it was all the way in the back of the room that I didn't even know existed. And I went beeline to his table. Jake from Wax Pack Wisdom was there. Greg from Midlife Cards was there. Tony, Southern Collector, was there. Tony's friend Tim was there. So we had a nice little time sitting around going over cards, looking at cards. And suddenly I saw this. Another card on my list of holes in my collection. That was the sort of the theme of my list. Big cards that if I could get them, would fill up a big hole in my collection. And This is Ted Williams Leaf card. It is just a glorious card. I mean, the just the coloring, the red and the blue. It's almost like he's like it's majestic in many ways. His the shot looking up at him, and just a terrific card. And I expected that I was going to be able to get something in the 1 or 2 range, but this is a 3. So I got Greg on my left doing the VCP. I'm looking at the card. The other guys are looking at it, and talked to Tim. He's got a pretty good price on it already. We were able to get him off of it a little bit, but enough so that I was able to pick up this Ted Williams card, this Leaf card. Probably my best buy of the entire week. Just to be able to get this card into my collection in this quality. Again, I did nail it on eye appeal on this and the 34 Greenberg. I really nailed it on eye appeal, because this one, again, people said, how is this a 3? I mean, it's a little bit off center. It's got a little toning in the on the edges, but color wise and registration wise, I don't know. Let me see if I can do this. Let me go back to. If you look at it, you see really closely. Look at his face. Look at the registration in his face there. If they can get his face that good, and the color on his jersey and the bat itself, there's no registration issues. All the colors are lined up, and that makes me feel like I really nailed this one. So 1949 Leaf, says 48 on the flip, because I guess it's prior. Yeah, it says it's not pre-research. It's a very new label. It begins with a 9. Recently graded. The back, again, a little bit off center, but not too bad. No other major issues. So giving it a 3, I guess PSA, the grader had a bad day, but it gave me it was a good day for me that he had, because it made me be able to afford a card that looks like this. So at that point, I had spent a lot of my budget at that point, and there's some more cards. There's a whole stack of cards still to go through, but I was able to go around. I did want to meet Chris McIll on the left. He's the guy who, with his partners, invented Card Ladder, essentially. So I went to find him at the Card Ladder booth because I wanted to just talk to him. He's on Jeremy Lee's show pretty much every week. They call him the closer. He comes in at the end of the show. Very, very intelligent man. Very, very keen on all the issues in the hobby. He went to law school, so he's not a practicing lawyer, but we're both guys who went to law school. He took some time. Was very, very nice meeting him, and he was very friendly and gave me a Card Ladder T-shirt. So I have a Card Ladder T-shirt. I got a lot of T-shirts this week. Very nice to see Chris. On the right is Michael Ham, who I shared the stage with on Because I'm Carlos's show. And again, a great collector, great collection. Not necessarily a vintage guy, but certainly somebody who has a tremendous eye for all different kinds of collectibles. And he's just such a nice man. I met him a couple of times, once in the lobby and then once out on the floor. So it's happy to say the second time I got this selfie with Michael. So great to meet these two great guys. So I also looked around a little more. I should mention Leighton Sheldon. He will come up much later, probably in part 2. He was there. He had his whole crew there. I think he had 3 tables. He was selling a complete T206 set, and they did actually end up selling it on Saturday night. So I was happy to hear about that. So I did take a couple of pictures of his cases. On the left is the Maple Crispet Babe Ruth. I think the figure there is a little short of $13,000. So it was interesting to see that, because I had just done the Maple Crispet show a few weeks ago with Bobby Burrell, and thought about Bobby when I was looking at that card. On the right is the Joe Jackson rookie. I think it's the E93. Somebody in the comments can correct me. It might be E98, but that one also is a 5-figure card. So I figured I'd get a couple of shots of that from Leighton's booths. So a couple more cards. The one on the left is I have finally gotten the Lake to Lake Lake to Lake Dairy put out a set in 1960, all Milwaukee Braves, because that had a whatchamacallit, where did I do with it? It's around here somewhere. The Lake to Lake, there was you could send in the cards for a redemption. That's the word I'm looking for. You can get a redemption, and a lot of the cards were sent in, so they're pretty rare. You see them though, but I've never been able to sort of connect and be able to get the Warren Spawn. As you can see, it looks pretty good, except for the fact that this is a staple. Was up in the right-hand corner there. So, oh well. Shout out to Mookie Chilson. It's got not just two pinholes. It's got not just one pinhole. It's got two pinholes from a staple. I'm going to send that into SGC. It'll get a 1 or an A, but I don't care. I finally have Lake to Lake Spawn in my collection. And if you remember from the first pictures of the brunch, I pointed out Matt the Card Story. Matt the Card Story texted me and told me where this card was and what the booth's name was and where to find it. And I went over there and negotiated with the guy. He didn't take that much off, but I guess he could tell that was the card I wanted. So I got that, and thanks to Matt, I was able to finally get my Lake to Lake. Now on the right is another doubleheader. I got two of those, I think two from Bill Chappell, and then I got this one, which is a SGC 6.5 of Al Kaline. It is extraordinarily good condition. 6.5 is probably because the crease in these doubleheaders, you could see the fold is there and is obvious. So they take that into account when they grade them. But if the fold is a little prominent, as this one is, you go from a perfect grade to like a 6.5. Still, Al Kaline, second-year card, one of the Hall of Famers that I did not have in this set prior to the show, and happy to add that, building the 55, and I made some good progress. Also, I guess it was late on Thursday. I don't remember who the dealer was, but they had a setup. They were right when you walked into the door opposite the main door. There was a side door that you could get in, if you had a media pass or a VIP or whatever. And so they were right there. So I got this Johnny Evers card. I'm looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out why it's a 1.5. If you see the front of one of these cards and it's a 1.5, you could figure out it's probably the back that's the problem. But I'll show you the back in a second. But look at the front on this. Corners are really sharp. It's only slightly off center. The color is really strong. So Johnny Evers fits into my 1914 Braves collection. But this is a E93, which is a set that I actually have a few cards in already. So I was happy to add Johnny. And this particular card was priced pretty well. Again, priced for the grade pretty well, but not for the eye appeal. The eye appeal on this is like a 6. So let me go back to me solo, and I'll show you this. That's the back. Oh, that's a little bit of, that's me sweating on it. The back has like a discolorization because it was in an album. So there you go. That's the back of this card, and so that saved me probably $500-600. And there's the front of this beautiful Johnny Evers card. And so let's go back to that. So one other card to go through before I finish part one. So this is a 1948 Leaf Joe Gordon. Joe Gordon is Hall of Famer, of course. Won, I believe, 4 rings with the Yankees, 3 or 4 rings with the Yankees. Was traded directly up for straight up for Allie Reynolds, a trade that worked out very well for both teams. Joe Gordon continued to be a fantastic player on the Indians, and in 1948 he was terrific. He helped the Indians win the World Series, and it says right here, this is a 49 card, so they have his 48 stats in it. 32 home runs set the slugging pace for Cleveland's 48 title drive. So batted 280, 154 hits. So really, I think he was top 5 in the MVP voting, but and a champion on 2 different teams. I think he hits 4 or 5 rings. I got this from Brian Roth. I paid him, worked it out before the National. I picked it up from Brian at the National. We live in the same city, and we couldn't hook up the last few weeks, but it was fine. We knew we were both going to be there. This is what's called a wet sheet transfer. I'm not sure if you can tell from this. The wet sheet transfer, you could see writing from another card. And what's good about the wet sheet transfer, and I do not have another one of these, because Leafs printing was so rudimentary, I guess would be the right way to put it. They ended up with a lot of cards with severe printing issues. But what I like about this is the wet sheet part of it leads me to believe that they had just added the ink into the printing presses. So you look at the color on this, it's super bright. It's a bright yellow and bright blue. And even with the printing issue, the wet sheet transfer issue, you've got a 3 on this from SGC. So perfectly happy with this card. Let me see what the next slide is. Oh, the next slide is, in fact, Thursday night. So maybe we'll end with this slide in the next one, and then we'll end part 1. Part 2 will be next Saturday. So Thursday night, you will hear and hear about on many other YouTube videos. The Thursday night get-together was supposed to be at the Embassy Suites Hotel. The National, in their infinite wisdom, decided that no unsanctioned event could take place in any of the hotels in the area around the National. So Mike Moynihan, who last year did such a huge favor for me and forever has my loyalty, has organized this event for many years and has never had any issue like this. The event, however, has grown. So there's more YouTubers, there's more commenters, there's more people adjacent to YouTube coming into this event. And it was expected there would be a couple hundred people maybe. So when the event started, I didn't get there till about 10 minutes after it's supposed to start. When the event started, there was a lot of people there, and they were congregating in, I guess, like an atrium, which is adjacent to a bar. And I guess the hotel got word of it and came out and said, you can't have your event here. And the event was then broken up. And when I arrived, everybody was out had been kicked out, and they were all outside trying to figure out what to do. And I know Mike took a lot of people to another area where there was a grassy area, which there was then an outdoor concert. They couldn't do it there. I know they went into the lobby of the Stevens Center and then couldn't do it there, and ended up on the grass of the Embassy Suites doing the pizza on the grass, and made somebody refer to it as making lemonade out of lemons. And salvage an event for quite a few people, but groups splintered off, including myself and a bunch of other guys. As you can see from this picture, these are 4 other guys, 5 people total, of a group of about 20 to 25 people who went to Sholess Joes. Sholess Joes is a restaurant about a half a mile up the road from the Stevens Center, and we had a great time. I mean, it was not the YouTube get-together. There were some non-content creators, commenters, other people that were there to meet with the YouTubers, and there were some of them with us, but mostly it was content creators and guys that we knew, and wives and dads. So it was a fun event, and I liked hanging out with my friends, and I certainly cherished that evening. But would have preferred if the National had not broken up the event that Mike very graciously has put together for so many years in a row. I guess things are going to have to change next year. That being as it may, other people will talk about this more. And I'm at this point, we did what we could. And so you can see this picture, a lot of smiling guys having a great time. That's Mike Junkwex's hero on the far left. Greg from Midlife Sports Cards next to him. In the middle is the great Matt from Providence, whose name will come up again shortly. Actually, no, it will come up again on part 2. Matt was there and was just, I just had a terrific time following Matt around the show and just watching how he worked. He was there mostly to buy inventory because he is one of the best vintage dealers in New England. And, having him go there and pick up inventory and concentrate on cards that would be strong in New England, it was educational and entertaining to watch. And Matt was just a great part of that. There's me, and then Jake Wax Packed Wisdom. We took this photo, as you can see, before it got dark out. And we were there from, I'd say, probably 7-ish to close to 11. So it was a fun day, a fun night. Again, would have preferred to have been in the big room where we could have met with a lot of people that we don't normally see. And I feel terrible for the people who came there who didn't really know people, came to meet YouTubers and such, and didn't get a chance to do that. And hopefully they'll be able to do that next year. So gifts were involved. Jake Wax Pack Wisdom rips wax packs on his channel, amongst other things. And in one of his recent rips, Bobby Mercer came up. He knew I'm a Bobby fan, saved this card for me and handed it to me at the National. So that will go right into my Bobby Mercer binder. Thank you, Jake. And on the right is a cool item from Mike Junk Wax Hero. It is a ticket stub from the first win of the Mets at Shea Stadium on April 19th, 1964. The Mets beat Pittsburgh 6-0. And you can see, I had Mets tickets in not 1964. I was one, so I don't have tickets from this era. But later on, they kept Mr. Met, and it's funny because the Mr. Met with the umbrella and the frown and the rain is the rainout information, and they kept that on the tickets for many years. I do remember that. So that's a really cool ticket. I might get that graded from PSA. I'm not sure. I do have another ticket to send into PSA. It's not part of the National, but we'll see. But really happy, and thank you to Mike for that very thoughtful gift. So Sholess Joes is a restaurant named after Sholess Joe Jackson. And what's cool about it is that in the lobby of the restaurant, there's a whole bunch of photos from Chicago White Sox locals and signed photos and stuff. But this one caught my eye because Joe DiMaggio once had a restaurant in San Francisco, and I guess they got a copy of the menu and put it in a picture frame, and it's autographed by Joe DiMaggio. And there he is, a picture of him. I don't know how good of a chef he was, but there he is posing as if he were a chef. And like I said, autographed by Joe DiMaggio. So that was the part one of my National experience. There's a lot more to come, and a lot more people to come, and some more cards and some more gifts, and a really, really cool item at the end. So I'm going to put this up on my channel. It's Monday night now. I'm hoping to get it up Monday, maybe Tuesday morning. The next part will go up next Saturday, my usual time, about 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. Folks, if you can tune in again on Saturday, that would be great. I'm going to link everybody who I talked about in this, and I would encourage you to visit channels, watch videos, and support the people who were such good friends at this event. And the National was epic, as I said, and I've got even more epicness to talk about, so to speak, so next week. So let me end the recording, and I will talk to you guys.